Wow. That's a great way to start the show. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys had a great New Year's celebration. I had a great time last night. I'm feeling it today though. Muscles are aching. It's been a while since I've been dancing that hard. But it was fun. Had a lot of fun. It's a great way to start the new year. Hopefully that's going to be the translation into also a good year for us with Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners and things like that. So what's going on here right now? I've been hearing obviously some more talk that Bitcoin has kind of peaked. Kind of wanted to go over what some of those thought processes are behind it and why they're saying Bitcoin has peaked, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on it as well. And we'll look at also the miners. What should they have mined here in December as well? We don't have the data yet for those guys. They're going to start reporting tomorrow. Probably is going to be a day where we're going to see a couple of reports for December numbers. We'll go over that, and then we'll get into your Q&A side of things. And also, Happy New Year to you guys as well. Wish you guys, hopefully you guys have a very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year, as always. Okay, but let's get into the nitty-gritty of it all. I didn't want to do that one. I wanted this one. There it is. Not financial advice for anyone. Only do your own research. As always, full disclosure down below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And let's get into Bitcoin, why some people are thinking that Bitcoin has peaked, potentially. Okay, so some of the things that I've been seeing, not only online, but also from some of you guys, from Patreon members, Discord members, and all that stuff, you guys are saying that there's a couple people out there stating that the candles, right? The candles, based on the candles themselves for the monthly on Bitcoin, represent that we might be, that we possibly have peaked in December here. And the reason they're saying that is because if you have this type of candle where you have large wick down, right? We saw it here in December now, right? On the monthly chart. We also saw it down here back in November of 2021 as well. You can see that wick down as well. And you saw that also kind of back here in 2018 as well. That was in January of that year. We actually had a good December then, but we had definitely a bad January there. So, I mean, that one's not like halfway through it. So I don't know. I mean, we can zoom in on that a little bit more, maybe look at it a little bit better. I don't think that's halfway mark where it ended up at, right, from where it peaked down to here. So I don't know if you can really use that one. I think what you're looking for is a massive wick down like we saw here in December. But this one here also looks like, I don't know. I mean, that's what they're going by here. I don't know how much vindication there is to that or how much truth there is to that, if that's going to be the end of the cycle here. They're also talking about, like, on the daily chart, I think, one of the things that they're talking about is the RSI, what we saw here, where the price was going up here quite nicely. The RSI was coming down, right? So we saw that. This is, as of now, this past couple months here, they're talking about this happening also back in the double peak that we had here. This is back 24. Where are we at here? I gotta scroll this out a little bit. 23. Here we go. So same kind of setup here, more or less, where price was going up here, right? Up. And then the RSI was coming down at the same time. So that's kind of the two things that I've seen so far where people are talking about the charts, analyzing the charts, and they're thinking that this is a similar setup to what we saw back in the 2021 cycles, and I think it also went back in the 2017 cycle as well. If we go far enough back, we might be able to see that as well on it. Let's see here. That's 19,000 there. Let's zoom in on that one a little bit here. And I mean, you can see peaked right about here, the RSI did right there, and then the RSI was coming down while price was actually going up. So that's kind of what they're talking about. The other thing, though, I don't know how much value I put into that. It could work out that way. I could be wrong on this completely, right? A lot of us are very bullish on Bitcoin going up even more. We have the ETFs, nation states, all that stuff, adopting Bitcoin going forward here. But the other thing that's kind of changed around is, I think the main thing is the ETFs. The ETFs have propelled Bitcoin this cycle to get to a new all-time high before the halving event, which has never happened historically in Bitcoin. So if we look at that alone, right, we peaked right here. This was back in March with Bitcoin being at like 73,000 something. That's never happened before. If you look at the other prior cycles as well, Bitcoin has always stayed below the prior high until after the halving event and then went up on a nice run after it. That was a change that we haven't seen before. So that's something different here. The adoption is different this time around as well. I talked about it just a couple seconds ago. The nation states putting on a strategic reserve as well. States, corporations putting it on their balance sheets. Micro sailors going crazy, still got $6 billion left to buy into it. And then, yeah, some people are also saying, like Omar here is saying that, if you look at this chart over here, Bitcoin ETF inflows, that the inflows have been having a huge impact, at least what it looks like recently here, as all the outflows that have been happening here recently is the reason why Bitcoin has been going down. So it seems like they are having a much higher impact on Bitcoin price than anything else, which I would agree. I mean, they're buying a boatload of Bitcoin here over the last year. It's been one of the best investments vehicles ever put out there, right, as far as ETFs are concerned. So, yeah, that's definitely having an impact on it. And you can see that here going back to March, right, when it kind of started out here. And you can see kind of, I wish I could possibly put that over on a chart of Bitcoin as well to see how well this plays along with it, which I think is going to play pretty well with it. And we've definitely peaked here around the 18th of December or something like that on the chart, and we have been falling down. What has happened with Bitcoin? Bitcoin has been falling down as well. So thank you to Omar for that information here. And we'll see how we can use this going forward, maybe to our advantage a little bit here. We can see the daily inflows here happening. We can definitely see a lot of outflows happening here since total outflows. Yeah, I mean, you can see the total outflows here have been quite large. So maybe that's the reason for it. So we'll see. I still think Bitcoin is still not having peaked. I think there's still more room for it to run. This would be the fastest it has peaked ever also, I think, after having cycle, only being out, approximately 8 months or so, April, right, to now through December. That would have been like 8 months or something like that. So I think that would be the earliest as well on that. So I don't think that's going to really flow into it. I think there's more. You guys let me know what you guys think. I know there's obviously different sides of the aisle here on this conversation and topic, whether you're a bull or a bear going forward here. I definitely want to hear from the bears as well as from the bulls. I'm still thinking we're going to do great going forward, but I'm always open-minded and willing to listen on it. The other interesting part of this that I thought was kind of interesting, they also are, the far side investors are also tracking the miners here. And I looked at that. I didn't know about them beforehand, but I looked at it and I went to their miners section, and they actually have the same miners that I'm tracking here right now, which is kind of a funny coincidence, I think. Remember, maybe not. Maybe it's not a coincidence. They have the 11 same miners that I track here for you guys. But one of the things that I found was kind of interesting as well down here was the full list of public miners. There's a lot of them, and we only cover 11 of them. There's what did they write in here? I think they wrote in here that there's thought I saw someplace where they wrote it in the amount of miners. Maybe they didn't. There's definitely a lot more than what I cover here. A lot of the smaller ones we've covered in the past. We still cover them a little bit here as well, but there's also quite a few that we don't cover right now. So that was just kind of interesting. But yeah, I still think Bitcoin has better days ahead of it, only because of the adoption that's happening in the space. But we'll see. We'll see on that. We'll see if my thoughts are correct on it, or if I'm completely way off and we have peaked, right? We'll see. If we have peaked, then it's going to be a rough year for us in 2025. All right, so that's it on that. Bitcoin did report a negative December here, down 2.85%. Bitcoin is up a little bit here on the day right now. On it, it's up 0.044. That's on a new date, so it's having a little bit of a green streak here. We were green on the last day of the year, December 31st. We were up on the first year, and we're up a little bit now on the new day in January 2nd for the Bitcoin network here on that one. Okay, so that's it for that. Let's get into the miners here really quick. So somebody requested this as well to kind of take a look at to see where the miners for December should have mined, more or less, right? It's not going to be exact. It's going to be an estimation based on where the network hash rate ended at the end of the month. For the average was about 754 exahash. What the miners have at the end of the month, or I'm using a lot of the numbers from the end of November. So if they include growth here in December, I did include for like Cleanspark, because Cleanspark reported they're at 37.5 exahash, IREN's at 31 exahash, Mars at 50 exahash. So I included those guys that have kind of put out those updates already. Of where they are, and we're looking at those kind of numbers here. So we have petahash, or if you want to look at it as exahash, exahash would be like 12.8 here for Bitfarms, right? On it, network hash rate, the average for the month here, we're also using the percentage of hash rate that they have, each company here, that's the percentage there. daily average BTC, right? On average, you're supposed to get about 450 BTC mined per day. What that equates to for each miner per month, and then I'm including 3% transaction fees. I haven't run the numbers yet on it. It might be, it'll be close, I think, based on what I've been seeing here with the transaction fees on it. And then their estimated revenue based on the average Bitcoin price of approximately, what was that? That was, oops, too far back. $98,232 was the average Bitcoin price here in December. So a high number, which is going to bode well for a lot of these miners, generating a heck of a lot of revenue here in the month of December. So here's how that all stacks up. You got the per month BTC mined here, transaction fees included in there. We're going to use the per month numbers, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on if they could get close to that. Bitfarms, 236 Bitcoin. I think they should get close to that. They usually operate pretty well, uptime as well. We'll see how close we get to that, but I think it's going to be pretty close. Cleanspark, right, they reported 37.5 exahash sometime in December being reached. So they're going to be not at a full 37.5, but they're going to be close to that. So I think this number might be a little high, just slightly. We might be off by 10, 15 BTC or something like that. I don't know exactly how much on that one. We'll have to wait and see when they do report, just like everybody else here. IREN, also at 31 exahash, should be about 573 Bitcoin. Mara at 924. This is Mara operates again at 100% like they did in November. So that's going to be pretty close to that. They might be down a little bit because, again, depending when they got to the 50 exahash, a couple of days difference there on it. We should be pretty close. Riot at 569. Again, this would be actually them operating at 100%. Historically, they haven't operated at that kind of capacity. They've always been, recently they've been better around 80 some percentage, getting closer to 90%. So this is probably going to be high for them unless they really did run at 100% for them. So I would expect, somewhere between 80 and 90% of that for them. Cypher, 221, I think they can definitely get there. Core, 356. Hive, 104. And Hut 8 at 105. Now, the interesting part of this is look at the revenues here for these guys. A lot of these guys are going to be generating a lot of money. Bitfarms, 23.9 million roughly. That's with the 3% transaction fees being included in there. For these guys, Cleanspark around 70 million, IREN 58 million, Mara about 93 million. This is going to be their best month for Mara, Cleanspark as well, IREN as well. I'm not sure about Bitfarms, if that's going to be their best month here. If we look at their numbers here, 53 or 23, whatever it is. Yeah, it should be their best month here ever as well. So we got quite a few miners are going to be generating a lot of revenue. They're, new all-time highs for them as far as revenues are concerned. What else do we have here? Riot at 57 million. I think that's going to be probably lower, like I said, depending on their operational uptime. Cypher at 22 million. Core at 36 million. Hive at 10 million. Hut at 10 million as well. So there's going to be, like I said, a lot of revenue for these guys, which should bode well for the end of the Q4 numbers for them, which they will report roughly a lot of these guys are going to have their end of year numbers, so those have to be audited. That will be probably later in February, I'm guessing. And then some of these guys like Hive, I believe it is, and Cleanspark, they're still in their regular quarterly reporting, so they don't have to get audited. Those should come out faster. I'm guessing Cleanspark might be out early February, along with Hive potentially as well in there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on those, see how they do and how do the stocks do going after that. All right. But that's it, and then we'll compare based on how much they actually should have mined roughly to what they actually mined here. Once they all report, we'll do a comparison. How close do they get to that full operational excellence? All right, so that's it. Let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here. As always, I'll make the spreadsheet available to all my Patreon members. Link is down in the description for that if you want to join. That way you guys get all the data that I have on everything. Okay, let's get into Q&A. See what you guys have to say on all this stuff here. Am I way off that we have peaked, or am I way off that we still haven't peaked? Let me know what you guys think. As always, preface the question with a question mark or a Q, and then the question. That helps me out tremendously. And let's see what we got here. Trying to find some questions from you guys here. Okay, a bunch of Happy New Year comments here. Nilovo Cam, Happy New Year to you as well. Let's see here. Juan says January will be the bull run. We will see BTC at 120,000. That would be great. Andrew, Happy New Year to you as well. Big gains to be making in the next few months. That'd be fantastic. Todd, Happy New Year to you as well. Any chance this year you could break down the equation for hash rate, cost of power, etc.? Yeah, we could do that. If you guys are interested in me breaking that equation down, we can definitely do that. Let's see here. Hi, Sib. Do you think that since both the 10-year and 2-year and 10-year 3-month yield curves have uninverted, that the bull market is going to be postponed until Fed printing starts again? I don't know. We'll see on that one. I still, like I said before, I still think we might be going down a little bit more on Bitcoin before everything is said and done with this little mini correction that we're having right now. But after that, I don't know. I wish I had a crystal ball. I'm sure everybody would wish they had that. Okay. What price of Bitcoin and exahash Bitfarms can do $10? I think they need to get to the like 21 exahash. Bitcoin would have to be like 200,000 plus. 200,000, and then anything above that would be probably better. Okay. Let's see. Malik says CoinMarketCap has a tracker for that too. ETF inflow has been tracking BTC price nicely. Okay, good. All right, so we got a couple of those. Let's see. Karen asks, Karan asks, when is Bitfarms acquiring Stronghold? They should be acquiring it here in the first quarter of 2025. Can they move to the United States like Hive after completing the deal? Yes. One of the things that somebody posted was, and yesterday's live stream was, with them getting Stronghold in the United States, they could, in theory, just relocate to the United States that way. Kind of the same way that Hut 8 did with US Bitcoin, USBTC. When they bought them, or they merger of equals, whatever they did there, they could do that. Yeah, Stronghold is, I believe, in New York as well. I wonder if they'll actually move. I think it would be good for them if they did. Let's see. Chow, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right. If I am wrong, I'm sorry. Hi, Seb. Happy New Year to you as well. Are institutions, big players, still shorting miners and buying them at the same time? Could they be accumulating the miners? Thanks. There's still a lot of accumulation in the from the big guys, big players. Yes. There's also a lot of short on some of these guys as well. That is also true. So, yeah, they could be accumulating, and then once they start reporting Q1 numbers, things could definitely take off for us. Sour Melon Gaming says, I no longer believe miners will have the runs like we all thought. The businesses are just too sketch, and before you know it, bull market will be over, and these companies will go to losing money. And if we have another cycle like we had in the past, yeah, they're definitely going to be going down. But I don't know if the cycle is over yet. I don't think so. Okay, Bevneat here. Why did that one pop up? Bevneat, here we go. Question. We have not peaked. 140, 180 is the peak, and I'm thinking before April. Okay, cool. Let's see. Can you compare the debt to profit on the top 4? A lot of these guys don't have debt. If you're talking about debt now with the convertible notes, okay, that can be considered as debt there. But profit, how would we compare the profit to that? Debt for some of these guys is over $1 billion, and their revenues right now for like Mara is like close to $100 million a month, right? I'm not sure how we would compare that. Or expense. The expenses we can probably look at based on Q3 results for those guys. Let's see. Hi Seb, what is your new forecast for Hive after it moved to the US? You think it will get a nice bump? I think it should definitely help them. Getting more institutional attention and things like that, I think that will definitely help. I don't know how much. I mean, I could probably give it another, I don't know. I'm just throwing it off the top of my head here. Another 50% increase maybe from where I thought they could possibly go. Maybe, I don't know. Hard to tell. Let's see. Dynamite says, Seb, you should look up Financial Ernie channel on YouTube. His latest video has Cleanspark December BTC mined numbers from monitoring their public wallet. Cleanspark mined 682 in December. Okay. So that was, what did I have on them? I had Cleanspark at 693. So like I said, I could be off by 10, 15 BTC. So pretty close on it. Perfect. Okay. That's fantastic. Yeah, I know there's a couple guys and gals out there tracking the miners through their public wallets, and you can see how they're doing that way. Okay. Bethany says, I don't think we go lower than 85.90. I just don't see it. Yeah, I think 85 would be a good mark to get in, go down to. That would be roughly 20%, I think it would be. 20, 25%, something like that, I think, from the top. Okay. Do you think Hive is a candidate similar to Wolf and IREN for an HPCI deal? They already have HPCI deals in place, right? They have what are they generating right now? That's over is it close to $1 million now a month? from HPCI, and then them getting they're buying $30 million worth of new HPC computers and servers there for, I believe, some customers there that's going to generate them. Gosh, I'm going off memory here right now, but I think it was like $20-30 million a year in revenue from those. Ryan has stopped by. Ryan, thanks for coming in. Question, Eddie, do you think miners could have back-to-back quarterly positive earnings for Q4 and a Q1, especially if BTC? Yeah, Bitcoin stays at these levels. Yeah, I think so. I think that should be in. Let's see. Biggest talk at Sailor's Party was about switching Bitcoin reserves, and all looks good for getting approved to keep current BTC. What's your thoughts on miners? Should this be announced in January? To keep current BTC. Oh, so to keep BTC up. Is that what you're asking there? Should that be announced in January? We'll see what Trump does on his first day, right? Does he do something with the 200,000 plus Bitcoin that's being held in custody right now by the government? If they do something like that, where they earmark it for basically the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, well, then that's going to be a good catalyst, I think. Okay. Do you know if IREN is domiciled to the U.S. this year? They're planning on it, I believe, or something similar. I know Dan said they will be possibly reinstated into Russell 2000. Yeah, I believe they're planning on doing it this year. Hi, Seb, can you go over the dates of the miners' next reporting schedule? We can look at maybe. Let me see if I can see this on one of these guys here. The stuff is going to be always off a little bit. I don't see it. Let's take a look at it here really quick. I don't think the dates are accurate. They're sometimes off a little bit here. But like Bitfarms is set to report, looks like here, what is that date? March. They're saying March 19th here for them. BitDeer, approximately April 16th. Okay, that's way out there. These guys here, that's Cypher, looks like February 28th, right? Am I looking at that right? Yep, February 28th. Cleanspark's looking like it might be Thursday, the 6th of February. So kind of like I said, early on in February. CORZ, that one's way out there in April 1st. That seems a little far out. Thursday 27th for Hive. Then we got Hut 8 on Thursday the 27th. So that's kind of where I would expect things to be more or less for these guys that have to do an annual report, and that gets audited. Then you got IREN at Thursday the 13th of February. Marathon would be the 31st of March. Riot here looks like the 12th of March. And Wolf would be 27th of March. So I don't know how much truth there is to that. I know they have to be audited and all that. It always takes a little bit longer. But I don't think it's going to take them into March to do that. When did they report last time? Let's take a look at this. Let's see. This is May. And yeah, they reported in March. That was their annual report there. So maybe it's going to take them that long to report. Okay, back here. Okay, talked about that. Karan, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Mike has a question. Sebastian, what will Hive's all-in cost to mine BTC after they bring down to 17? I would have to run the numbers on it. I have the data only for the miners that they have in Q3 right now, and they're pretty high as it is. But them getting lower to 17 joules per terahash should help there. The only thing is how much of a hash rate increase will we see in the network itself, right? That's going to offset some of those gains there. They might need to get lower below that possibly. Let's see here. Seb, if U.S. makes Bitcoin strategic reserves, I'm going to call it BSR from right now because that's a mouthful. It may not ever dip like it has in the past ever again. People don't think about that. Exactly. That's one of the things. Even the introduction of ETFs here has me think a little bit differently on it. Only going by what has happened with gold. When gold got the ETFs, you can see what happened there with gold for the number of years that it went up. But we'll see. Let's see. Roger asks, question, BTC starts pumping up to 180,000. Miners don't move. What's your next move? Oh my gosh. I'm going to start making some phone calls to these institutions trying to, figure out what the heck they're thinking. Oh, Heinze question: sell my kidney or the farm? Neither. Don't do neither. Where would you rank Hive now with all the growth in the pipeline, the move to the U.S., and the significant undervaluation? Like, where would you put it? I mean, right now, I think it's still way undervalued. It probably should be. If it was fairly valued right now, I got Hive right now between, you know, based on the numbers for November, multiplying times 12. Where's my screen? There it is. I have them between 676 and 1014. They're at $2.85. They're definitely way undervalued. Could they get to that with being U.S. domiciled? That, I think it definitely helps. The only thing with the growth, yes, the growth is nice, 13 to 15 exahash, whatever next year, but it's still only maintaining roughly, I think it's going to be maintaining roughly the 1% Bitcoin network hash rate that they have there. So it's not that they're being very ambitious on their growth. I mean, if they come on and said that they're going to 30, 50 exahash next year, okay, well then that changes things because that's gonna be a lot of growth. But they're happy with, maintaining that 1 to 2% of the network hash rate, and that's one of those things that I think some of these people are looking for. I'm looking for is growth, a lot of growth, because once you have growth, you're doing a lot better in all aspects. Okay, going back here. Let's see. God's Will says, great channel, very educative. Well done, Seb. Wishing you a prosperous year ahead. Thank you so much, and you as well. I wish you health. I think health is the most important thing. Well, money is great, but health, if you don't have health and you got a bunch of money, it doesn't do you any good. So I wish all you guys great health for this next year. Okay, question. How is it going, brother? We're doing okay. We're into 25. We'll see how 25 is. Hopefully it's going to be better for us than 2024. Let's see. You're excited to pick up some more miners lower. Have you thought about buying other miners than IREN, Cleanspark, and Bitfarms if we see a lower prices? Thanks for everything. Yeah, I'll look into, Mara has been operating much better. Looking at Mara, I think they're way undervalued right now as it is currently with the hodl that they have and everything else. Looking at them, Riot has been doing better. We need to see their numbers for December though. But they've been operationally doing better as well. So that's another one I'd be interested in. And then, Bitdeer has a huge pipeline in 2025 as well. That one has had a huge run up here recently. I don't know if that's front running it already. A lot of it that we've seen. That's one that's kind of interesting. They also have their own ASIC machines there that they're building for themselves. So there's a lot of good things with Bitdeer. One of my concerns was with them was the growth. The growth wasn't going to be until the second half of 2025 into 2026. And I was looking for miners that were growing into like the first half of 2025. They've definitely surprised me here. Okay. Benny says, USA will not allow Bitcoin to dip low because of Bitcoin ETFs. They will always buy Bitcoin whenever it dips lower than expected. That's definitely one way to look at it, yeah. Let's see, you're tempted to buy any Bitdeer yet? Big things coming this year. I would need to have it come way down in price a little bit. I think it's still, by my numbers, it looks I think, yeah, I mean, right now it's looking like it's fairly valued. So if we look at it here, based on, let's see here, where's it at? I'm moving my icons around and I'm stumbling here a little bit. Right now, Bitdeer, and let's see am I including anything in here? Yeah, I'm including also hosting that they do there as well. I'm in between 1855 and 2783. They're at 2167 as of, I believe, when was it? Yesterday. So they look fairly priced right now to me. So I would need to see them dip below that in order for me to possibly think about getting into them. But I think there's other miners that are possibly more undervalued right now. But yes, they do have a huge pipeline of growth going into late 2025 into 2026 as well. And if we have an extended cycle, this could be one that does really well because of it, right? So that's something also to consider. All right, back here. Okay, let's see. Rahit, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Hive is doing everything right now, moving to US, tripling hash rate, HPC growth, target revised, amazing operations, and lowest valuation. I think it's due for maximum return from here. Thoughts? Possibly. Right, and the only thing I say is on that is based on their Bitcoin growth, Bitcoin mining growth. Just doesn't seem like they're as ambitious as some of the other miners with getting their hash rate up there. That's the only thing I could think of that might slow them down a little bit. But other than that, yeah, I've always said Hive has had great operations, great accounting of operations and, being really good at what they're doing there. See, why are we so off from analyst ratings on miners? Average on IREN is 21. Yeah, I don't know. They're being held down. Let's see, Eric's Seb, does it concern you that unlike last cycle, the money is flowing to MicroStrategy and even to an extent MSTU, MSTX, BitU, and to get the yields? Yeah, you're seeing that, but you also, where's the money going out after we've seen the correction in MicroStrategy, right? It went up to $500, is now 200 some odd dollars. Where has that money really gone into? So that's kind of interesting as well to look at that. I don't know where that's going, but there's definitely a lot of money that went out of that into something else. But I think eventually, the miners historically take out Q4, which we just ended right now. But from there to basically the last, I could say, probably year and a half or something like that, the miners have not really been profitable when it comes to revenues. Well, they've been profitable in that sense, but when you look at EPS side of things, they haven't done that great. I think now is that time for them to start doing much better. Okay. Seb, do you think Hive is the Cleanspark from late 23 and early 24? Based on this news, could it run? Yeah, it could definitely run, but I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to be enough again. I think I would like to see more hash rate growth, honestly. But I could be wrong. So, I'll leave it at that. Let's see. Bitcoin has never experienced a real recession. Nope. That is true. And I don't think we're going to get one this year. I think we're going to get one maybe at the earliest, probably would be like 2026. Let's see. Why does the market hate Bitfarms? What does 2025 hold? There was a lot of stuff going on with Bitfarms this past year. We talked about it ad nauseum here. Paraguay FUD on the mining, the cost of mining in Paraguay, the CEO leaving, them being basically let go, CEO suing the company, board issues, Riot trying to take them over as well. It's just been one thing after another, them missing their targets. It's been it's kind of self-inflicted wounds on that one, I think. How does 25 hold? I think if they can do really good. Also, I was able to verify that Ben, the CEO there, did buy 100,000 shares recently in December. So that is good news, right? You got insiders buying in Bitfarms. That should tell you that they even think that they're way undervalued from where they really should be. So, and they get stock options and all that stuff anyways, but they're still buying more. So I think that's a good sign. See, since most miners are going to report positive, do you think it's smart to sell and rotate between each miner in order to date earnings, like sell IREN, then rotate into Mara, then right? Oh, geez, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't do that. I don't see point in doing that. You could, if you're trading these guys, yeah. If you're like a longer term investor, I don't know why you would do that, but yeah. Let's see here. Express, Happy New Year and appreciate the Q&As as always. You're very welcome and same to you. Happy New Year. Let's see here. Mike says, just wanted to say your coverage is awesome. Thanks, Seb. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay. Eddie has a question. Do you think we will have a much better correlation between BTC and miners this year, like what we had in 2023 and 2024? Was only correlation to the downside? I think so. I do. I think because of the miners having better EPSs when they report. So I think that will have a positive impact. Let's see. Mara's dirt cheap now. Mara, I have them at, let's see here. Let's see how cheap they are compared to what I have them at. Yeah, they are pretty dirt cheap right now as it is. So here's Mara on my screen. I have them between 28.55 and 42.82. They are at 16.77, and that's using the previous 3 quarters and the current quarter estimated numbers, but this is going forward for them. So yeah, I do have them pretty cheap right now as it is, which, if you look at them, 78% of the market is their HODL position, which is just insane for them. Yep. I would agree. Okay. All right. Question, are you confident Mara will beat their high price from last bull run? Their high price was what, $80, I think it was last bull run. So they're at under 20 right now. To be like a 4x for them to do that, roughly 4.5x. If Bitcoin goes on a nice run for us this year, we'd have to probably go above 180,000, like 200,000. Then it might be possible. The revenues that they're making there alone, almost $100 million a month now, it looks like. Yeah, multiply that times 12, you get 1.2 billion in annual run rate. So that should be rewarded. And Bitcoin goes up even higher, then you're looking at even more at one point, right? So if they're generating close to 100 million right now, what if Bitcoin gets to 200,000? At that point, they're generating like close to 200 million. Multiply that times 12, and you're at 2.4 billion. All right. Do you think the Ross Ulbricht pardon happening or not will be a good indicator of things to come? I think it's going to happen. I know that there's a lot of people wanting that to happen, and I think even Trump has talked about it as well. So it might happen. Has he done his time? I think he has done his time. Right. Will that be a good thing to happen? Possibly. I don't know how much of a good catalyst it's going to be for Bitcoin and things like that. That's just part of Bitcoin history there. Let's see. Question $60. Cleanspark and 70 IREN still on the table at 180,000 Bitcoin. I think it's still on the table, but it probably means that Bitcoin has to be closer to like 200,000, I think. And that's only because of dilution and things like that, network hash rate going up and things like that. But I think it still might be on the table. Okay. Question. I'm hearing a lot of talk about MSTR acquiring Mara. If this is true, no better time than now than after Mara hits $100. If that's true, yeah. Mara has definitely been beaten down here. Market cap is pretty low as it is right now, and they have a huge hodl position as well, 40 some odd thousand Bitcoin. So that would be, I mean, they would have to pay a premium of it, and depending, what would that premium be, and how likely is Mara to sell though? Question said, what is your opinion on MicroStrategy 10 billion dilution? I'm seeing a lot of different opinions on this. You know, so far it's been working out for Saylor and company there, doing that convertible notes, the ATM, buying more Bitcoin. They're getting a NAV of like 2 to 3 at some points. That's below 2 right now as it is. But as long as they can do that successfully going forward, then that's probably going to be a good thing for the company. The only concern there is if Bitcoin has a similar cycle like last time where it goes down 70, 80%. Their average price of Bitcoin now is increasing. I think it's over like 60,000 right now. And my original thoughts, going back to even last year, was if Bitcoin goes to like 180,000, and then where would it correct down to? My thoughts was like around 48,000 at that point. If we go down the similar paths as before. So would they be underwater at that point? What would that mean for them? So that would be my only concern there. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay. So do you think Mara should buy out Hive for $6 a share because that would increase their hash rate footprint by 30% and also give them an AI HPC angle? It would only cost them 800 million. Well, are they that low now? Hive that low valuation on it? What are they valued at? 338? Possibly. Right? And they're definitely way undervalued from where they should be. Could you get $6 and have them sell at that point? Maybe. I mean, they do have also, let's see, I should probably share the screen with you guys. They do have a nice haul there as well. That's valued at 257 million. I mean, yeah, so take out that. I mean, that's basically valuing the company at, what is that, like 80 million? Yeah, that's just insane there. Yeah, their hodl to market cap is 75, kind of like Mara. Mara's pretty high up there as well, 77. So where's Cleanspark at that point? 32%. So they're still getting more value on their operations than they are on their hodl. It seems like, for them at least. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that is way undervalued. Let's go back here. Okay, what else do we have here? Seb, your mic is cutting out. It's not my mic. It's usually, sometimes it happens with YouTube for some reason. If I do a stream for a long period of time, that seems to cut out because people that have that issue, they come back in, they actually can hear fine again. Let's see. Okay. Bitfarms being this cheap, if Riot offers $3, should Bitfarms take it? Can Bitfarms go bankrupt while BTC keeps going up? Just crazy price. They shouldn't go bankrupt. They're going to be profitable right now. So there's no reason for them to go bankrupt. anytime soon. Just the stock is not seeing the operations there. Yeah. Okay. Question, Fred from Mara mentioned in the recent interview that institutions and retail have got new options in investing in BTC ETFs, and this is one of the reasons miners are down. That's one of them. Yeah. Not going to lie on that. Yeah, it's definitely down because of that as well. But how much of a percentage contribution is that to it? And I think it's also the miners haven't been profitable here recently. So once they start becoming profitable, things will change. But at least they should. But we'll see. Okay. Do you think Cleanspark is going to make a mistake not following in Mara's footsteps with accumulation of Bitcoin? I think it's going to leave Cleanspark behind. I don't know. I'm still on the fence on that one, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of companies buying Bitcoin when they can mine it at a much lower cost. Yes, Cleanspark has probably a better cost than Mara does when it comes to mining it. So maybe that's why they're not doing it. Mara does have a little bit higher cost there. Is that the reason for it, or are they just doing the same playbook as MicroStrategy, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see how that, this cycle will tell us how it plays out. I mean, right now, you're seeing that Marathon's not being valued on their HODL position, right? Cleanspark's getting more valued on their operations, where Mara doesn't seem to be that way. Patrick says, I'll be pleasantly surprised if the miners reach their all-time high this cycle. I will be too. I think it's still possible, but it's definitely going to be a tough battle. Which miner do you think will be the biggest surprise like what we had with BitDeer? Also, what are your thoughts on IREN convertible note? I'm not really bullish on their 3.25 interest rate. Yeah, I think the reason they got a 3.25 interest rate is because they don't have any Bitcoin. I think that's the reason why. To be honest, if they had Bitcoin on HODL, that would be the case for it. And which one do I think might be the biggest surprise? Oh, heck, I don't know. You know, with these guys, we're always just one good news story away from taking off. So that's a tough one. Be diversified as best you can and ride the wave. Let's see here. Are you participating in Miner Madness 2.0 with Bryce and Anthony there? Yeah, I put in my numbers there for them. Let's see here. Question, can you believe I'm not 82 anymore? Crypto is keeping this 83-year-old young, relaxed people. BTC is going up. If I can be patient, so can you. Congrats. Good to see. Oh, my pup is hearing something. But congrats on getting to 83 this year. That's great. And you still being on here and interacting with people, and that's fantastic. Okay. Happy New Year to you as well. Let's see here. Would ETFs and MicroStrategy take the shine away from miners this bull cycle? Would we see price spikes like last cycle with all the dilution miners went through? We had dilution, but they also got to a much higher hash rate than they have in the past, in the last cycle even. That should generate them more revenue than they were generating last cycle. So yes, there's been dilution. And then MicroStrategy was around back then as well. I don't know. There's definitely some impact on the ETFs and MicroStrategy as well. But how much? I think we'll see that in the next 6 to 9 months. I really do. I think once the miners are profitable, I think things will change. If they don't change, well then, yeah, then there's going to be definitely a good answer there. Let's see. Are you expecting BTC will go above 150, 175,000 above? What will situation that time with minus 3 to 4x current prices profitability will be higher? I do think we will go above 150,000, 175,000 maybe even. I'm still thinking we might be 200,000 plus at this point. And the miners should at that point with high profitability do much better. You know, that's always been the thesis there. Okay. Do you think Mara's cost per coin, including everything like stock-based compensation and miner depreciation, will be profitable in Q4? They had very high cost per coin in Q3 while curtailing. That's going to be tough because it's the end of the year for them, so they might throw in everything in the kitchen sink at that point as well. So, I mean, with them generating, let's see. Let's take a look at it here. Let's see if we can run the numbers together really quick. Okay, so there's Mara. Mara, I have them operating at here for the quarter at approximately almost 200 million here, right? We'll have to wait and see what we get the numbers for December for them, but right now, as of right now, this is what I have them at, right? And we're using the numbers for them being at 40 5 exahash instead of the 50 exahash. So there's going to be some additional revenue there. So let's say they're at 210 million roughly for the quarter. Okay, 210 million. How much were they off on Q3 here? Let's see here. They had a loss of net loss attributable to common stockholders 124. So they should be positive, I would think. If they lost 124, now I mean I would think they would be profitable at that point. If they lost 124 and they generated 215 million, that should make them profitable, right? Am I doing the math right here? Unless they really throw in stuff in there to make it less, but they should be profitable. So we'll see. Okay, going back here. Let's see. Omar says, thanks for the shout out, Seb. I'll share another indicator with you tomorrow, pre-live stream that has great correlation. Okay, excellent. Yeah, no problem. Thanks. If you guys provide great information, I'm more than happy to share with everybody else. This is what we're all about, sharing in wealth of knowledge that we have, or lack of sometimes. Okay, let's see. Why are the analysts ratings so off? We talked about that. That's just the market where the way it is from right now. Okay, let's see. Would Michael Saylor ever let BTC price down with his plan? Seems like he will be on buying spree for forever future things. Yeah, it does seem like it. I mean, he's got 6 billion he still has to use up. Yeah, I mean, but he's buying it at higher prices, right? So he does need to have it to stay up there, to stay above his average price, basically. Okay, let's see here. Mara short interest, basic short interest, 78.8 million. Ratio 2.86 days to cover. Short interest percentage 25%. Source, yeah. I have been pretty close. I think I'm for last time I checked, I'm at like 23%. So it's definitely gone up. Likelihood of Bitfarms getting to 10 and Cleanspark getting to 50. In your opinion, are they both very likely, and are they both equally likely? I would give more to Cleanspark to get there. Bitfarms needs to provide us with much better operational updates going forward, growth and things like that. If they do that, then I think 10 would be in the window there as well. Okay, what else do I have here? Okay. Question. Please share your thoughts on BitDigital from their recent news on acquiring a new site for data center expansion. Thanks. I think it's great. I think that they're doing the right things, but they're still not being valued on their operations for Bitcoin mining or their HPCI business, which brings in them probably now over 100 million, I think, a year. So, I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not sure why. I think it was because they've been asset light so long. Now with them getting actually sites that they have full control over, I think that's a good thing. That should help the stock, I would think. Let's see. Okay. Does Riot oversell their ERCOT deal to curtail miners during high energy demand periods? Okay, so I think what you're asking there is, do they pump that part of it more so than them curtailing, right? So you can run the numbers on it. If they were operating 100% uptime, go close to that, even like 95% uptime, what would they have mined in Bitcoin? What did they actually mine in Bitcoin for the month? And then how much credits did they get? Did they get the same amount of credits that if they would have mined or not? You can see if that makes sense. Let's see here. Do you think BTC will chop up from here, or will there be an Omega candle? I still think we're going to go down a little bit more, but how much more, I don't know. Okay, what else do I have here? Question. I'm holding Cleanspark, IREN, Mara. Would you add a fourth one or just keep DCing these? Net break even on all as of now. As of now, you're, that's going to, I don't know your financial situation. So I would say if you have the money, I would get into maybe, I should probably take my own advice. I have 3 also, right? So I should probably take my own advice, but I get a couple more just to cover my bets a little bit more. Yeah, I would say try to do that, unless you have high conviction in IREN, Mara, and Cleanspark, right? Dollar cost more into those as well. So that's going to be, you're going to have to decide that. Okay. Let's see. Why do you think Riot won't reach $50 at the end of March? I think it's going to be dependent on their operations. Right, their operations haven't been great the last, I could say now, 2 years now. They've operated like 60, 70% operational uptime. If they can improve on those things, then there's a better chance that they could get there. Okay, let's see here. Your favorites after Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, would it be Riot, Mara, Hive? Right now, it would probably Mara. Mara's, doing. I think they're gonna have a really good December as well. So I definitely liking what I'm seeing there from them. 2 great months, November, December. So that's looking much better. They have a huge hodl position, 50 exahash of growth. Where they're at right now. So that one would probably be it. Then I would probably go with Hive because of their operational uptime, and then maybe Riot. Okay. Question: do you think Mara, IREN, Cleanspark, or even MicroStrategy will be a faster horse going forward in 25 than Bitfarms, or because it hasn't popped yet and problems are in the past, maybe Bitfarms will do even? Yeah, that's yeah, hard to tell, right? You would think then with them, if they start operating better, getting to where they're saying that they're getting to, or maybe even improving on that, getting there faster, that might be a good catalyst. I think a lot of the other stuff is already done with. The problems with the board, I think that's been resolved. The CEO issues done and over with there. It's just now operations. Can they execute on their operations much better? All right. Is DCAing down into Bitfarms a good idea? Depending where your price average is at right now, with them being so low, I would think so. I've done the same thing. I DCA'd into these guys as well when I was under. So that's going to be something you have to ask yourself. What do you think of just buying the miner ETF? I have it also in my retirement account as well. I think that's a great option. You're pretty well diversified there, and it's done pretty good here, actually. Okay, let's see. Question: I'm questioning myself on $35 price target for IREN since Bitcoin and miners aren't having any correlation between them. What's your thoughts about this? Okay. Yeah, they haven't had much of a correlation here recently. That's because the miners haven't been also profitable. We had the halving event, took half of their revenues away. So I think going forward, Q4 for the miners, Q1 should be really good as well. We'll see where Q2 goes, but as long as Bitcoin stays up, that should be also a good sign there. So I think that's going to be the catalyst that we need. All right, let's see. Which miner owns the most exahash if you don't count exahash that are hosted? I count hosted. I don't count, not hosted, JVs. If they don't own more than 50% of the JV there, I don't count that. Hosted, I do count. So if you have machines that are hosted with somebody else, those are your machines, right? So I still count that. It's just when you do a joint venture with somebody and you own 10%, 25%, whatever it is, you don't get the benefit of putting the expenses and things like that, and doesn't go as income on your statements. So that's why I don't count that. Okay, let's see it. All right. Okay, I think I've cut up to all your guys' questions here, and we're going on close to an hour already as it is. All right, so we'll call it a day here. Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, miners start trading again. We'll see how that goes. Where's Bitcoin at right now? 94,000. Okay, so it's up a little bit, about 0.5% or so. So that's good news there. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have, I'm pretty sure we're going to have Bitfarms update. We might get Cleanspark, maybe Riot and IREN, maybe Mara even too. Those guys usually report relatively early, so we'll have a full show tomorrow with a bunch of updates for you guys. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. And then, no, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. I was thinking tomorrow's Friday for some reason. And then we'll do whatever we have on Friday as well. But yeah, that's it. Again, thank you so much for coming in, as always. Great to have you guys here. Love you all. Hope you guys have a great night. Hope everyone has a wonderful, healthy new year. That's the most important thing. And then everything else, money-wise, that all flows in. That's all bonus for us. Or at least that's the way I see it. Maybe you guys see it differently, but that's the way I see it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.